One of my clients has a really cool practice. She's the president of a consumer packaged goods company. And when she identifies a new need in the business, she takes out her pen, she takes out her notebook, and she writes down in the notebook how she's grateful that that thing has occurred. And guess what happens? Whatever she needs to fulfill on that need, it shows up. Is she a witch? Is she a magician? I would call her highly spiritual and in tune with her feminine genius. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how you can use the power of your words by just speaking something that is a part of your career or business dream, and then it becomes a reality, just as she does. There are 3 essential steps, or it's like, what do you need to cultivate inside of yourself for this to happen? When people don't believe in something like the law of attraction, which is a language you could use for what I'm talking about here, when they say they don't believe in it, it's because they don't understand these 3 components of what's required inside oneself to turn that thought into a reality, to turn the word into a reality. Because no, you don't just think it and it turns into something. And no, the answer isn't just to take action, although yes, action is important. It's about how you cultivate what you're saying inside of yourself. And so there's 3 components of what to cultivate in order to really bring that word into manifestation. So let's go. Number 1, cultivate a belief that this process of speaking out your word will manifest something into reality. Like, first you have to believe that. I'm not talking about an intellectual knowing, I'm talking about faith, that this is how the universe works. That you have studied spirituality and spiritual principle enough that you know this is true. You know it in your bones, you know it in your heart, you know it in your soul. It's not just theory. And look, if it is just theory for you right now, that might be why you're not yet fully manifesting at the level that you desire. You're not fully bringing forth your visions. But what you can do is engage in spiritual study to cultivate that belief, to practice and test the ideas and how this works in the processes in order to see how this really works. So number 1 is cultivating that belief that this process works. Number 2, cultivating a belief that this process works for you. This is about you and your connection to the divine, the universe, God, and in knowing that you are being taken care of. This is more about self-esteem. This is more about healing. And so if you're someone who has undergone trauma, abuse, racism, sexism, anything that made you feel less, bullying, if you've experienced that in your past, you've likely incorporated that into your thought system. And so you might believe that that woman over there can manifest when she writes things down, but you may not believe it for you. And so that's about your own healing. So, cultivating within your knowing that this process works for you. And then number 3 is cultivating a real desire, a burning desire within yourself for that thing that you're writing down or speaking out loud that you want to manifest. You know, a great example for something like this used by Gary Zukav, who talks in his book Seed of the Soul about our power to create. He says, sometimes we have splintered intentions. We say one thing, but we're also thinking another. And whichever is stronger is going to win, right? So if you write something down, but yet you're holding like this other possibility, and you're not, really owning that thing, that desire that you have, well, you're not really committed to get the thing that you want to manifest. So the example he gives is when you're in a relationship and part of you wants to stay in it, work it out in troubled times, and part of you wants to leave. Whichever is stronger is going to win. It's the same thing here. If you have a business desire and you write it down or you speak it out loud, if you're wishy-washy about it, you're not going to get it. And it doesn't mean you have to, immediately, no, it's yours. No, these things take time. Like, that's one of the things is like, you notice I'm using the word cultivate. Cultivating a burning desire for that thing. So you might at first be like, that would be nice. Oh, but this would be nice too. Well, work that out in yourself. Get into alignment. And it's when you're in alignment and in knowing that that is what you truly desire, and you've cultivated that desire, that's when the power of your word works. So all three of these are important. It's not just you have a thought and it shows up. No, you have to work it inside. 1, knowing, cultivating that belief that this process works. 2, cultivating the belief that this process works for you. And then 3, cultivating a burning desire for what it is you're speaking that you want. All three of these are really important, and when they come together, you will have the power my client has to just write it down or speak it out loud. That's my practice. When I go to my altar in the mornings, those business goals that are right there at the forefront for me, I speak them in the present tense, being grateful that they're true, or write them down in a journal. Use whatever resonates with you. But I would really recommend try this out, but incorporate those 3 components, and you will see that saying is true. The way most people speak is, I have to see it to believe it. But when you know that things start in the spiritual realm before they come into the material realm, the true statement is, I have to believe it to see it.